just interview. Okay. Awesome. So, Cody, I'm glad we have our podcast up and running. And yeah, that's weird hearing my own voice talk back to me. I have to
Thanks.
take a moment. So, you are CEO of New Reward. You're 27 years old. You've got a background in business and computer science. You've done 7-ish years in sales on top of that. And you, in your younger years in high school, you placed 3 times in national competitions for engineering, correct?
hmm It was Skills USA, which is the national competition for high school kids, which encompasses anything from engineering to aerospace, like repair, diesel mechanic, welding sculptures. Some of those were really cool. The first year was my sophomore year. I did engineering design. You came up with a problem in the real world and had to solve a solution for it. So me and my team designed an extendable wall outlet. So you'd go in, and it's all contained inside the wall. So
Mhm.
you'd go up to the outlet, grab the outside of it, pull out a 20, 40, 60, or 100-foot extension cord, pull a button, and it retracts into the wall. No mess with any of that. We took that to nationals. Well, first state, you have to win at state, then go to nationals. We placed 9th in the nation that year. Second year, I did what's called chapter display. So you make it a display that encompasses your chapter, so your school for the Skills USA. The junior year, I created a CNC mill out of a robot part, like a robotics part set. So I used, because they have motors on there, you put an X, Y, and then Z axis on there. We put a Dremel on there, and then I coded it, or yeah, I guess coded
Okay.
it to engrave a 50 on a medallion, because the theme that year was 50 years of Skills USA at success. So I had it do that. So as an interactive display, somebody would come up, you could engrave a 50 medallion for them to be a keepsake to take home.
Okay, that sounds pretty
On
cool.
the back of our display board, we used a laser engraver to make a whole mural of our chapter over the years that we had photos of on there. That year, we placed 6th in the nation.
Okay.
My favorite one was the senior year where I did chapter display. I took a 1970 Williams Phoenix pinball machine. Unfortunately, some people might get mad. I stripped it completely down, ruined the whole historical value of it. It didn't work, but I remade it into a playable game as doing some of the leadership skill developments through Skills USA. So you would have like interviewing. There's a lot of the development programs, I forget what they're called now, but as you would hit certain points, it would be adding to your score. And once you hit a certain amount of score, you got this much more successful when you got into the real world on there. So it was a super interactive and fun way to display that. I redid the whole board. We 3D printed all of the new pieces on there. We redid the electrical circuitry on the back of it. We welded a new frame for it. Pretty much redid the whole thing. Did graphic design with a full wrap on the side. That year we placed 2nd in the nation, which
Wow.
was really fun. I wanted first because who doesn't want it?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the only reason we lost by like 3 points from first. And in their rule book, it says you have to document each department that helped you out on each time. So we did that. They wanted each actual person on there. So we lost 5 points on our notebook. Kind of sad, but our teacher had won a gold and bronze in chapter display and never a silver. So we completed his like trio of medals for it.
Wow. So you may not know this. You may know this. Have you heard of Elon Musk's question he asks everyone that he hires?
Hmm.
He says, always ask somebody what projects they've participated in and what their contribution was. You can tell every time if they played any meaningful role because of how they articulate the project. This was something I used when I was interviewing you. It showed clearly you had a strong sense of engineering and how systems work together. And something I like to remind everybody, you're always being interviewed, always. So just remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Something else I want to ask you, why New Reward for you?
So it all started really with when both my partners, James and Jason, asked us to build an AI first lead gen company on there. I've been in sales for almost 6 years, doing door to door car sales, couple different door to door businesses on there. And I looked at it and I was like, lead gen is one of the hardest things to be very good at. To create good organic leads or even paid leads that are actually good, going to convert into a sale, the golden egg. If somebody could
Yeah.
do that right now, they're going to own the market on there. There are some people that are a little bit ahead, but there's not a clear standout like Google search engine was when it became the top search engine that everybody used on there. I looked at that, and with where AI was going, I saw an opportunity for where old SEO operations weren't going to work because of how fast AI moves, and kind of a blue ocean you can jump into to help people get the visibility in AI. The way I saw it and looked at it one night was it's pretty much like doing SEO when Google first came out, where
Okay.
you can grab your piece
Yeah.
of land now.
Yes.
And the other thing with good lead gen is you're gonna need data. You need tons and tons of data. So the underlying idea of New Reward was help everyone become visible, understand who they are, their competitors, their ICP, anything and everything about their business, how they work, how their marketing strategy goes, how their conversion works. And as time goes on, we can then leverage all of that data stored in a knowledge graph to help curate better leads, help curate better ads that drive real customers to buying, to where when we go into this age where everyone's going to be afraid, your search traffic is going to drop tenfolds, but your conversion rate, if they're driven from an AI engine, can go anywhere from 2 to 3 times higher converting to 4 to 5 times higher from traditional search engines.
I'd like to see the math on how much that plays into a business's well-being. Um, what? Well, there's a lot of things there, and one of the things I wanted to ask you is when you look at New Reward holistic, you have this powerful search symphony of AIs and APIs and systems that's pulling a dramatic amount of information that then's consolidating it, I would say distilling it, refining it, and creating packages that are then pushed to the client system. Now, my question about that whole system, what's your favorite part?
The potential for what we can do with the data that we store, the potential for honestly nothing that our platform has capability as now because the technology is not there with AI yet, but to where we can build full blown AI agents, assistants that are so tailored and so in tune with companies that they can do one of two ways of dealing with the implications of implementing AI. Because one of the biggest fears people have right now is what's your job going to happen to if AI comes to happen? And in my mind, it's not a problem of who am I going to lay off. It's more of a problem I'd pose to the leadership. You have one of two options here. You could use AI to automate the mundane and tedious tasks nobody wants to do anymore. And once you do that, your employees don't need to be working as much. So you can either give them 3 4 day work week, still pay them the same because you're using AI and the amount of efficiency that can do is going to increase your profit margins. Not only are your employees are going to enjoy their work life balance much more, they'll probably run through a wall for you at that point because they actually enjoy their job. They can go enjoy their life, and it's not just working until they're 60, 70, and then retiring without much of your life left. Or if you don't want to give a 3 or 4 day work week, give your employees more actual meaningful tasks to do. And if you're sitting there saying, well, I don't have more meaningful tasks to do, then it's, in my mind, a leadership problem and not an employee problem with anything.
Okay, that makes sense. I agree with you. So, because everybody's talking about this and thinking about it, where do you think AI is going in terms of job market, both immediately in the next 6 to 12 months to the next 5 years?
In the next 6 to 12 months, I think it's going to get more of a rocky sea where people try to push implementations of AI past what their actual capabilities are right now. Because you have some people who are pushing all these AI plans, integrations into effects for their business, and they're, say, the CEO like me, but they aren't building the platform, they aren't coding the whole system, so they don't know the ins and outs. They don't actually know what AI can and can't do. They're just getting, TDLRs of what's going on. And so they push all of these out when they don't have the capabilities. But here in 6 to 12 months, we will have those capabilities. So the right way to do it, which I don't think anyone really is you start preparing the foundation, the infrastructure, the architecture to actually implement all of these AI systems once they're tested and proven out. I mean, yeah, a lot of us have AI assistants with open clause right now. Like I'm trying to build my own version of Jarvis, but they're not solid enough yet to actually implement into business. But the speed of coming out, like with Codex, just released their feature on their Codex app where it can watch your screen visually and help direct where you're going on there as
It
well.
can learn from the Chronicle, right?
Yeah,
That's wicked.
it's a crazy thing. So 6 to 12 months down the road, if you're a CEO and you've pushed, we're getting rid of all these jobs because AI can help us out with this already, you're going to have a big issue of you're going to have to rehire a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because yes, AI can do a lot of things, but it can't be a human. It can't run everything that the human needs to do unless you can tell it exactly everything it needs to do, which good luck doing that. You have context windows, drifts, it's not going to happen. So if you can start implementing and augmenting it now, it's going to help propel you across the finish line farther. But with how most businesses operate, I doubt that's going to happen. So that's why it's going to be really rocky the next 6 to 12 months until those businesses get slapped in the face with, oh, we do still need the human workforce. We still need them to help guide them in the right way to confirm we're going in the direction we want, because the human mind is still pretty much a black box. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, we know how it works, but do we really?
I appreciate that thought. So it sounds like what you're building for is what I've seen trending on X right now, which is this idea of your new platform is the harness. It's what is your infrastructure that's essentially, for me being a nerd, I think like a mech suit from Gundam. Like your AI gets into that, and then what's its capabilities? Is it going to stay there? How are you building for the future of that ease of use? And that, in a way, is a lot of what you're doing with websites. You're trying to architect this system that when it integrates with the website, it creates an interface for the AI that's like the most authentic. Is that the best way to put it?
Yeah,
Okay.
most authentic in the way that whoever the business is wants to be represented.
Okay. So like just I know that some of your stuff is proprietary, but what's some of the things you do at a high level that help a website show up?
I think the biggest thing we do is we do a ton of deep research and analysis
Okay.
analysis of who the client is before we even start generating any of our content or artifacts, as we call them on there. We love to figure out and understand who the ICP, the ideal customer profile, is for that client and business, so that when we physically ask the large language models, questions from their ICP, where the holes are, we create specific content, whether it's back end files, blog posts, social medias, review recommendation. It can range in a ton of different ways to help patch those specific holes.
Yeah.
And I look at it as most of the clients we start, they're both Swiss cheese to start with. They have a ton of big holes, small holes everywhere here and there, because ultimately AI is going to scrape your website. And if
Yeah.
it's not structured correctly, it's could hallucinate, could miscalculate what you're trying to do, misrepresent the company on there.
Yeah.
And so you want to patch the biggest holes first, which is what our first pass does. And then as we keep going, we keep patching more and more holes, and then we keep you up on the top spots on there as well. And one of the biggest things we do is AI changes so fast. I mean, pretty sure Claude has been updating almost every single day. They have
Yeah.
new features almost every day now.
I think it was last I checked a couple days ago, they had 50 days straight of features.
And we do scans every single week. If you aren't looking every week for what's coming up, what's changing,
Yeah.
what's the new ways to optimize, you're going to get left behind.
So you're updating the models to the newest models they come out? Okay. And then the algorithms, from what I understand, change periodically, and you don't necessarily know when, why, or what. But from what I've seen in your data packets, that doesn't matter as much as it matters is where they are right now. What are we going to do about it? And then you create the solution and implement it.
Mhm. Your
Okay.
goal is to create a good enough brand authority within the AI models so that when somebody asks, say, like you're looking for big equipment funding or roofing services or breeding dogs on there, when any client or customer asks for that and doesn't know who you are as a business, you get returned as the number one brand authority from the AI engine.
Mhm.
Behavioral studies have shown that 86% of anyone who uses AI implicitly trusts the answer on there. And I mean, there's a reasoning for that because when you did, traditional SEO, you searched up for, I need my roof fixed. It's going to give you 10 links. You got to go search each one, search the reviews, figure out if they're good or not.
Mhm.
Everybody knows that's what AI does for you on there. So if
Yeah.
they subconsciously already know that the AI searches for them, does all of this searching and proves them out, they're not going to do the extra searching. Those people coming into your website from AI traffic are going to be buyers and not just window lookers on there.
So related, I know that you've been working on implementations related to full life cycle purchases as well as more an advanced release, and you're working on the universal commercial
Protocol.
protocol. Thank you, thank you. Did you see today Stripe? Oh, dropped a wallet, an agent wallet. They're calling it Link. So you can give this to your agent, give it money, and say go.
Bet you that'll open up the floodgates for us to do AI agents trying to trade stocks, Bitcoin, crypto, poly markets, whatever you'd want on there. Because that's one of the issues that AIs have when you try to do that right now is they won't connect to your like account, your funds, which you don't want them to either because connect it to your bank account. And if it's like, oh, I lost all the money, what if it just tries to deposit more and more and more and more?
Yeah. Yeah, that's problematic. But I think, like what you're saying, it's the way of the future. Like
Mhm.
it's going to be that way. And here's my thinking. I don't know if this is true. I don't know what to think about it. But you have the stock world right now. We have arbitrage that is one of the basic essences of buying and selling and across international boundaries with currencies. How is that going to be impacted by AI trading right now and in the future when AIs are much faster and they can have like execution switches, kind of like how your brain preemptively executes? I don't know if that makes sense. Like, you know, how you catch a ball and your brain's already processed the information beforehand. I don't know. I'm just wondering what's that going to do there for latency? And then the other thing is, will there be like second, third tier, fourth tier arbitration? Does that make sense? Like meta layers?
I feel like the more we get into AI agents trading, the more short term trading is going to have way less success. As in, trying to trade short term, there's going to be so much noise and agents trading that you'll maybe have 6 months, maybe a year from now, to actually do that. But then once all those get involved, it's going to cause those little fluctuations to be so much more volatile that holding long term is going to be the like main solution on there.
Okay. I guess we'll see. So, 5 years, job market. Do I have a job?
Depends on if you say no to AI and don't want to try to use it at all. Because unfortunately, I know, yes, there's a lot of people who don't like it. They don't think it's the way of the future. But guess what? There's a lot of big companies with a lot of money that are pushing all this, and they run a lot of business through the world. So if they're pushing that way, the clients and businesses that run off their platforms are going to use it as well. And it's going to be forced upon everyone. Anyone who kind of digs their heels in and says, no, I don't want to use this, it's BS. I think you're going to have a good couple years where you have to rely on some other external type of help to live your life. But if you accept AI and start implementing it and learning the new tools of what to use and how to use it, there's going to be so many different job openings that we don't even know exist.
So,
Like,
you're a positive optimist about the future.
yes, because ultimately, I mean, if that doesn't go, society will probably just break down and go into anarchy, and most people don't want that. And in my thought is like if you have a kid right now, the college that they go to in 18 years from now is not going to look the same as the college I went to.
No.
The job market, the jobs that they go to, I guarantee there's going to be so many jobs that get created out of this new boom and new method of doing things that no one's even thinking of yet. So there'll be new degrees, new methods. And I mean, if we go that way, that's the way, the better way to do it. But ultimately, unless greed gets the best of all the companies, which it usually does, as we implement AI, the cost of AI goes down. The cost of goods should start to go down. So the cost of living shouldn't be so high. And that's ultimately my dream goal, is that, all these other jobs are created, the cost of living goes down because things are automated. Companies don't have to pay these people to go and do this, but for them to not have to pay it, everything that they use to run their business costs less as well, because that company has implemented AI as well. And so it ultimately comes from, in my mind, you need a overarching entity that gives you a break somehow as the business, or something, that if you have AI this much and you're not just using it to replace your workforce and fire people, like you're using it to help increase your profits so you can decrease your overall price, then you get some type of break. But
Mhm.
until there's that incentive, there's no reason for a business to, not implement AI and just lay people off.
Okay. Hmm. Gosh, I was going to ask you a different question. I forgot. Spaced it. But I guess for now, because I'm going to do another interview with you later, I just will take this and formulate more questions. I did have something else. I can't remember. Okay. Do you have any
Fine.
questions for me?
Not right now.
Okay, cool. Thanks for your time.